Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Rise with Rays. Today, I have Rays with me again, back to talk about this twin flame journey. And one of the things we're going to talk about today is how do you move forward when you feel so stuck? What are the next steps? If you did not watch our last week's video and live that we did, we talked about the twin flame journey and getting basically in it and feeling like how much more can I take? How much more do I have to go through? Can I even continue? Can I get off the bandwagon? Can I jump ship, right? And so we covered a lot of things last week. So if you missed that, make sure to go back. But one of the things we wanted to come here today and talk about is how you move forward and stop being stuck. So Rays, I'm going to let you share with us how you've
Thank
navigated this in
you.
your own journey with your own twin flame of 11 years. Oh, almost
Thank you.
12 now.
Yes, yeah, well, 12, yeah, so it's my wedding anniversary next week, which is super
Yes.
exciting. And thank you so much and welcome everybody. So, how do we feel and get from that place of feeling unstuck? This is quite common, and I feel that actually, as Dr. Harmony said, if you haven't already, go back and watch our previous live because this is the second part of it. And it's about how we can shift and move forward. And one thing that I've really learned from my twin flame relationship is that focus on yourself, recognize the growth that you're getting, about the mission that you're already in. A lot of us can feel that we spiritually plateau or that we're not actually getting anywhere, and it can we can lose a lot of hope from where we're going. We can lose a lot of hope in our journey, our mission, and what it is we're supposed to be doing. When we first meet our twin flame, it is dynamic. The magnetic connection is huge, and there is such an explosion of growth and energy around this union that actually, when we get to a place of everything starting to settle, everything starting to fall into a sense of just being, we really then can start to struggle. We can start to actually say, well, where is it? Where's this? We start, it's almost like we latch onto the feelings that we crave and that we need in order to feel like we've got to fuel that. We've got to have that as part of the relationship, that we've got to keep it at that level of intensity. So what we really feel that we're being called to do is really take a step back and really go into a place of surrender and observation. So a lot of us, we're trying to always do rather than be. And we're fixated on the areas of trying to control this. We're fixated on this is what we should be feeling, this is what we should be having, this is what everybody else is doing, and why is this not happening for me right now? So this is when we're really being called to go into that state of surrender. And whether you are losing hope or whether you are just really trying to find that next step of your journey within your twin flame, or trying to step into your mission or your purpose, well, I can tell you this for now, you are already in that mission and purpose because you are with your flame. So all the work is actually being done, and this is what we talk about in our 5-day challenge, is letting go of the work that we've done. If you haven't got caught that, we have a 5-day challenge where it's about letting go of this work, letting go of all this struggle that we take on, that we feel that we have to have in order to have this relationship, to work to our maximum capacity within it. So it's really allowing ourselves to step into that place of letting this go, knowing that that deep inner work is happening for us and it's happening to us. So it's about really going into that surrender. So there's a lot of different perspectives that we can look at with this process at the moment. So we've got people that may have lost hope. So there's many flames that could have lost hope, which is following on from our last live where we talk about losing hope, where we talk about not knowing where we're going in this direction. And then we've got the another perspective where we're going, well, actually we've hit a spiritual plateau, and that actually we've had all this dynamic energy come up, we've had all these dynamic emotions, all this cleansing, all this, and actually now it's starting to settle, and now it's starting to go into a place of just calm, that we're craving it, we're wanting it, we're waiting for that next, well, when's this happening, when's this explosion happening? And we can then start to again lose hope from this experience. So it's really kind of gauging every single aspect of where you're at and sitting with how you really feel and understanding how you feel. And this is when we're being really called to go into ourselves and really let go and really understand how the part of the process that you're in, you are with your flame, you are growing with your flame. The work is being done, just being connected to your flame in this union. And that actually, when we start to recognize this and we take ourselves out of ego, because ego can really create a lot of distractions for us. It can really create a lot of self-sabotaging situations where we're going, right, we need to focus on this, we need to do this. And then this can bring up, so it's really recognizing where we're at, the growth that we're getting, and actually how we can step into that next place of surrender. And I feel surrender is a huge word. And I know I talk a lot about going into surrender. But this is really about really acknowledging the mission that you're here to do, acknowledging the purpose of what you're here to do. So you're in union, you have your union, and this is, you're already in purpose, you're already in mission, and the growth happens. Now, I'm going to talk a little bit about my flame relationship and the journey that we've been on in order to recognize this and how we grow. So myself and my twin flame, we grow in spurts. We have this dynamic growth spurt and we cleanse, and then we go into a place of plateauing. And it's really being in that power of pause. And I know my flame is, because we mirror each other, we are guilty of trying to force the issue. We're trying to push the goals, trying to push everything in order to create that motion. Because when you're in that place of having that dynamic growth, it's really, really fast paced. It's really, really cleansing. You have a lot of emotional stuff come up, and it's really, really powerful. And then actually when the dust starts to settle, we almost can hold on to really wanting to stay in that place or looking to get into that next place, because we have this perception that is the only place we're achieving growth. Now, when we're achieving this growth, it's happening all the time. So it's letting go of that mindset of understanding this growth is happening all the time, and actually being in surrender, being in the power of pause is having and experiencing a huge amount of growth. Just as you have done within the cleansing process. And then you go, and it's like a cycle that you can go through. So myself and my twin flame, whenever we are getting ready for a massive shift, we have this huge shift. And then we go into a state of plateau. And then we start craving. Now, this is something that we have done since coming to Australia. We have gone through our shift. We've gone through a massive growth. We have let go of a lot of past stuff that we do, and we show up within our flame relationship. And we reflect, and then we grow. Then we get to a place of where we need to go into that power of pause. We need to go into that state of surrender, because unless we really do that, and unless we really open our energy to this, then we actually block anything coming into our path to help align us to what our purpose is currently. And this is really, really key, because we need to go into that surrender. We need to go into aligning ourselves to that place of feeling that peace, of recognizing that we've done that work, and actually allowing ourselves to go into divine flow. How many of us take ourselves out of divine flow because we're forcing the issue, because we're trying to control it? It is so common for us to try and do this. So,
yeah, absolutely. And one of the things, like, what I find is people can understand more the purpose of this mission, and we talked about this last time a little bit, that it makes it easier to navigate the journey, knowing there's a purpose behind it beyond the person, that this is a process of transformation within, and that the journey itself is a journey of self-mastery. And you're just going through the connection for the reflection so you can see, feel, and heal those parts of you. But when you've done that, and as we said, you're stuck sometimes moving forward because you've done a certain amount of work, and you feel like, okay, what do I do now? What is next? And so what I find in that, it's about a rediscovering your new self. So that is about you coming into a place of a new identity. This is the rebirth. The twin flame journey is a birthing process of yourself, of your true self. We don't know who that person is. we can't identify with who that person is fully. And all we know is sometimes we get stuck because we've let go of the past version, we've let go of the maybe experiences. And again, like you said, everybody's on this journey in a different place and space within this journey. So it's recognizing and identifying that while there is commonality to this journey, don't compare yourself to another situation or another dynamic or another, twin flame couple, because you came here to experience something that's uniquely designed for you. And for you to get that experience, you will have to magnetize whatever the experience you need for you to find yourself or to find what you need to heal, see, feel, wake up, all of those things. So in this rediscovery process and this rebirthing process, what I'm seeing the stuck part is between the old and the new. So we've got an older version of us that we've let go of. We can see some of the new things, but we can't see them all. And it's how do we get from where we've been or who we've been to who we're becoming and to actualize that. And so in that process of that, it really helps you to step into these cycles and stop judging yourself thinking you're repeating something, because at this stage of the game, the collective energy has subsided and it's no longer about clearing the karma collectively. We might need to do it individually. We still may have soul contracts that need to be cleaned up. But if you're feeling stuck, it means you haven't got something yet. Number one, it means if there's a cycle continuing, there's something, no matter how much work you've done, there's something you haven't seen yet. Okay. So talk to your higher self, talk to your guides, ask to be shown what is it that I'm not seeing in the scenario, the situation, and then learn to come into a place of realizing that you're not repeating the past. You're actually being introduced by some of the same scenarios, the same experiences for you to implement the new side of you, for you to create the new side of you, for you to step into, especially, into your divine feminine side of yourself. And this is part of what I've been teaching a lot lately, and also part of the whole rebirthing process of rediscovering who you are and turning wounds into wholeness and turning, recreating a life from this newer version of you. That's what I'm going to be teaching in that Sedona retreat. And I just want to say, if nobody or if somebody's here that hasn't heard yet, I'm moving to Sedona in 12 days to be exact. In 12 days to be exact. And I'm super stoked and excited. If you've been following me, this is the super opportunity that came to me last minute. And talking about surrender, you have to be in a state of surrender to navigate these types of changes that come out of left field, right? And so what that really means is surrender the person, come into the place of it's a process, and that regardless of this scenario that I've experienced, I get to choose that I want this kind of love. So what do you want? And we've talked about that, like you said, in the 5-day challenge, of looking at it from a place of you don't always know what you want until you for sure know what you don't want, right? And so it's in the contrast of what you don't want that can help you discover what you do want. Then your thoughts, feelings, actions, and emotions need to follow suit with that. Because if they don't, then you're moving out of alignment with your truth or your belief. Another piece of this is letting go of all the old beliefs and the old truths we've learned to date, because those belief systems, those truths represent an older version of ourselves. And when we try to move forward into who we're becoming or that next version of us, and we're trying to take the old beliefs and the old truths that we even created in this journey, that is holding us back from new beliefs, because that's a piece of this process. There's a spectrum of beliefs. There's a spectrum of energy in this. And everyone has a different perspective and a different point of perspective that they see on the bandwidth of all of this. And what I have discovered on this journey, Raisin, and I'll let you kind of share your part of this, that there are things I've saw on the journey that basically, if I stayed fixated on that one thing, then I would not see something totally different that's on the complete polarity, the complete contrast, the complete opposite. It's expanding our view of who we are, what we believe, and what exists, period. And that's what the whole world is doing and waking up to. So I just want to welcome everyone that's here. We have quite a few people on tonight. If you're new to Rise with Rays, just know that we're here to help you elevate your true self so that you can attract your highest version of you. And that is something that Rays has done through knowing for sure what she didn't want when she called in her flame now 12 years ago. So I want to wish her and Jonathan a happy anniversary. And before I forget, I want to make sure to say this. So next week, we are going to have a break for those of you that's been following us every Sunday. Next Sunday, we're going to have a break where we won't be live. We won't come on because Rays will be out celebrating her 12th anniversary with her twin flame. And then the week after, I'm moving to be en route to move to Sedona. So we will be back after tonight, October 1st. And just so you know, I will be preparing for the retreat that I'm going to be doing that first week in Sedona. And if anybody, I didn't put the link in here, but anybody is interested, that is still available to get plugged into, that is going to be so impactful to help you definitely rediscover who you are, because that's what we're going to go through as a rebirthing process through that journey in the vortexes, which is going to be super cool. But Rays, I'm going to let you share a little bit about your rediscovering birth and coming out of the cocoon and the chrysalis. And I just have to say, me leaving this space that I love is me coming out of the chrysalis into the new version of being.
And this, for everybody that doesn't know, myself and my twin flame, we emigrated to Australia 6 months ago. So this was us rebirthing a whole new way of life. And I love what you've just touched on, is that whole new perspective of going through a rebirth and recognizing how you've got to change your mindset and outlook around everything, because the old outdated does not work. Staying there does not work, that we cannot take that with us, that actually the energy is so fast moving at the moment. And the healing is so there, and it just comes in, that it's actually recognizing that there is an outlook. There is a whole different perspective, that when you bring this in and you let go of everything how you were. Now, to do this, myself and my twin flame, we had to let go of everything. So we let go of everything to move here, belongings, say goodbye to family, friends.
I just have to tell you, I'm only taking what fits in the back of an SUV. That's my
we fit our whole lives in 20 boxes, right? We went, right, 20 boxes. This is what we've got. This is what we're bringing. So it was really letting go of everything, from the energetic relationships we had around physical objects, to recognizing how we can really step into knowing that nothing really fully leaves us. It's what we choose to take that's within us, and how we can change that perspective. Now, the other side of that shift, I've got to say, you get to it and you feel, as you said, a sense of, I'm feeling lost. I'm feeling, what's the next step? I've just had a dynamic period of growth. I've just had to let go and do all of this work. And now I'm here and I'm going, oh my gosh, what's going on? Well, actually, it's about recognizing how we can change our perspective around things. What's been really, really key for me and my twin flame is open communication and how we can reset the blueprint. So where we are fixated on going, we need to do this, we need to do that, because we're still in the motions of trying to get things done, it's recognizing when we need to take that step back. Having that open communication at this point is so powerful.
I just want to say why that's important from my own perspective, my own divine masculine, is being able to trust them to catch you as now your divine feminine. So being, when you shift in this identity, you're also shifting, depending upon your role. Like, we're shifting into more of that divine feminine, and then the divine masculine is shifting into more of the divine masculine. So it's about trusting the other person, trusting the process, trusting yourself, being open to trust that the universe, really, that they're going to, and one of my mantras has been the universe is my provider. Because, when you get to this level of mastery and you start stepping out of that cocoon, it's stepping into the unknown, and you truly have to trust the process of what's next. because the universe is not going to show you what's next, because a piece of it is you trusting that you're going to be provided for with what's next, and that you take one step at a time in this journey versus trying to have every detail mapped out or knowing it. That doesn't say you don't have imagination, you don't have a vision, you don't have a plan, but that plan needs to have room to move, grow, and expand. And that's the flow you're talking about, being able to
Yes.
navigate the
Yeah.
flow of the journey, and keeping in mind this is about flowing,
Yeah. And it's recognizing that you're getting it done as you're doing it. Yeah.
Yes, yes.
And that is so huge right now, because you're having to try not to project yourself so far in the future that you're going, right, this is where I'm at, and actually being totally present in the here and now, and recognizing how we can stay in that place. And I love how you touched on the divine masculine and feminine, and recognizing how you have to step into that role and actually be in your vulnerability, show your vulnerability, and allow yourself to be empowered within that vulnerability. A lot of us feel afraid to be there because we can feel scared that actually we are unsafe. Well, we are not unsafe when we're in that place. It's recognizing how we are so empowered by allowing ourselves to be vulnerable in our flame relationship, which can allow ourselves emotionally to open up. Now, I recognize that I have to do a lot of energetic work. For all you empaths out there, we have to go out in the world, and we have to do our shield work, and we have to recognize how we empower ourselves, especially when we are in our state of vulnerability. But it's also recognizing how we can navigate our emotions through this and not suppress them. A lot of us, we go into a state of survival then, and then our divine masculine comes up so much that we go, right, we're going to place this wall up, and we're going, right, we've got to, when actually it's about going into that place of surrender, allowing our divine feminine to come up and allowing it to balance within your twin flame relationship. And yeah.
Oh, I just have to tell you something. So I had a session with a client just before I came on here, and we were talking about her divine masculine showing up in a place of feeling like he's a wall, feeling like even if she expresses herself, that he's a wall. He's not able to receive that. And I shared with her that's a reflection of her own divine feminine. The divine feminine and the divine masculine can't receive, can't be open, can't express when you can't. So in our dynamic within ourselves, it's the mirror back to they're not being open, they're not expressing. Oh, well, I need to be open. I need to be expressing, because the minute you do, and you do it, that's where this rebirth is. A lot of it's also operating in the new way, is from a new role of, like, say in our case, our femininity, right? To learn how to navigate now in the feminine side. And that requires speaking your truth. That requires showing up and being real and authentic. And I'll just be, as I always am, real and authentic. I've had braces issue and teeth issues going on for months and months and months, and even had it before my COVID stuff. And I'm supposed to be getting them off. And with the move, basically, we're ending a little bit sooner than he would have, but I'm going to pick up when we get there. So he had to take buttons off. But before all this happened 2 months ago, I had a loose tooth from it all moving, and it started causing nerve pain. Well, the root, and he told me I might have to have a root canal from it. So the root canal represents letting go of root beliefs. Okay. And that's what I was going through. And so that being said, so now I took charge and said, okay, I'm going to stop letting this experience stop me from moving forward. Because I was whole time being like, oh, well, I have to see him to finish my braces, when he had just told me the time before, you could go somewhere else. And instead of figuring it all out and being like, like all those details, I'm just trusting that the next step with this is going to align for what I need. I need a new chiropractor, all these things, a new dentist. So I'm just trusting it's going to show up. And it's the same thing we're talking about as we move forward. But where I was about to go with this is, so this last week, he took off all the buttons. He's done a temporary retainer for me to kind of hold everything, because until the tooth tightened up, it's not supposed to be moved anymore. But I am sitting here with feeling like somebody hit me in the mouth with a ball bat right now because of the fact that my tooth has been like feeling nerve pain, shooting pain, all this alignment. I got to throw away like all my old aligners just today and in this process. So I just want to say this from a vulnerable standpoint that when you show up and you're truly authentic and you allow yourself to express who you are from wherever you are, that gives people permission to do the same. So I'm showing up here today, not feeling my greatest or best, but I know that it's part of the new me of asking for what I need, which I've even done today with Divine Masculine and just different things of what I need in this feminine space. Because on the flip side of that, I'm not used to this. I've never had this kind of pain in my and look at you choking up over there. See, you got it all muted. Like, so see, like it's all about this is a piece of communication. Um, and that's the other thing about Ray's and I had originally, and we're talking about this from again, divine feminine's energy. We talked about doing recordings for the next 2 weeks between her and I being gone. And I'm like, no, that doesn't feel right. We need to take care of ourselves. We need to take care of what our needs are. We need to show up here and be real authentic like always. And we'll be back on October 1st because she needs to go celebrate and I'm moving. This is how you go forward in the new way, being your true self, being your raw self, being open. You express how you feel and you share who you are without making apologies for it.
Absolutely. And if we didn't do this, then we couldn't be here doing this, basically.
Right.
And actually nurturing me and my flame relationship and taking time out while we step off the planet to do that is the priority. And you shifting and growing through your growth and your chrysalis, your cocoon, and you emerging. This is huge. So when we come back in a couple of weeks' time, the energy is gonna be through the roof.
I know I will have
We
moved by the time when we come back. So I can't even imagine what we'll
Yeah,
do then.
yeah. What's amazing is myself and my twin flame are actually going to New Zealand, and there's so many energy portals over there. So I'm really excited about the shifts. We're going to see volcanoes and all sorts. So I'm really excited about the shift that's going to happen. So I know that we've had some questions as well around.
So let's take these real quick before we take those. I just want to say a couple things. Make sure to get plugged into our Facebook group where Raze is doing an amazing job of showing up with some exclusive content for you guys. She's got some interviews with some people that's been going on in there, and they are phenomenal. And she has really came up to bat to help support you there on a more of a daily basis to help create a community of collaboration for everyone that's rediscovering themselves from the ability to be seen, heard, and accepted and honored. And it's a private group. So make sure to get plugged into that. The other thing is that I want to remind everybody that if you've been following my shamanic Sundays that I'm doing with Jason, I forgot to mention this last week, following this session at 9 p.m. Eastern time, I'll be back with the shaman doing some shamanic journeys and healing work and sharing with you more about things we're going to be doing at the retreat. So I just wanted to say that before I forgot. So, okay, I'm going to put these up and raise. I'll let you share with you.
Okay, so this is from Arcades Dude TV. Another perspective is not just knowing what you want, but since we're becoming the one, it can be knowing what we can give as well. And this is so true because it's actually understanding what you are giving. Now, you don't actually have to do anything to understand how you are affecting the frequency of the shift that's going on with the ascension at the moment. They're actually just aligning with your flame relationship and knowing that the work is happening is going into that state of surrender of being rather than doing, which is exactly what I feel we're touching on. I do have actually a question from one of our group members within our flame community on Facebook as well, which I feel really tails on from that. And it
Can I
is
say something about this
saying,
really quick before you say
yeah,
that? And then I'll take this off. So one of the things I started showing up is seeing exactly the same thing, Arcade Dude. And what it was is I realized if I wanted it, then I needed to give it. So I started showing up, giving what I needed, with knowing that by giving it, it was not separate from me or missing from my life. And then it started showing up for me. So yeah,
It's
that's what.
aligning with that energy. So
Yeah.
it's doing that work from within. So following on from one of our group members, we've got more about how to find your twin flame purpose, what you're both here to do together to help raise the vibration of the planet and to be in service, etc., etc. So
Do you want me to answer that, or do you want to
yeah,
answer that?
yeah,
Okay, you might want to also answer this because you're doing
I
it with
will.
your twin flame.
Yeah.
But what I will say is that number one, the mission is you are the mission. And I also want to clarify there's a difference in a personal purpose and the joint mission. And then the knowing that both of those are plugged into a part of a collective mission. So the work you do within yourself is your purpose. And how then you show up and share and show other people how to navigate what you've navigated becomes how you put your pain into a purpose that becomes a gift back that heals you. When it comes to merging that with the twin flame, then it's about coming into you both having some singular purpose that you've went through to help and put your pains into purposes. But then the power of the two of you together is greater than one. And that together, your ability to navigate this journey and to come into harmony and to come into a sense of harmonizing the polarities, and to neutralizing the energy in such a way that you can show up together in flow and in sync. And that when you can do that, then you are templating how relationships of the future will be. Okay. Now, that is what the journey of twin flames are in the collective part of that. But if you back that down, each dynamic is different, but some have a purpose of doing what I just said to you. Some have a purpose of doing some greater work that between the two of you, the energy becomes more powerful to create more out of that than either one of you could have done alone.
100%. And I would say that within my flame relationship, we come into harmonic union. So we both are doing both the individual work in order to grow and to reflect. But actually, when we are stepping fully into our purpose, we are totally in harmonic alignment. And this just naturally takes a flow by itself, where we then show up and we are in situations and things and opportunities present themselves where we align to do the work, and we literally are working totally through and channeling our higher selves and knowing that this purpose and this mission is above us and this is what we've come here to do. By doing this, though, we've had to obviously align ourselves to doing the inner work by ourselves, reflecting off each other, going through this process of recognizing that we have to work on the communication, the shared goals, the individual growth, all of these things that we have to stay true to. And the higher purpose is shown to us, the mission is shown to us, and it just comes into flow. If this is something that you're outwardly seeking and that you're looking for, that you're saying, well, where is this? What's happening? There's a part of something that isn't in completion, and it just happens. It happens, and it's a part of flow that just comes in. That when you are aligned to work with a situation or help or assist, which is what me and my flame have been doing and have been done, it will show you, and you will be taken into that higher aspect where you know that this is part of your mission and your purpose, that this isn't just about your individual growth or the work that we do within our flame relationship, that this is actually part of what we're here to do on our mission. And you will know because it comes, and it's going into that place of surrender, of letting go of actually this is fixated on what we have to do in a twin flame relationship, and it's letting that part of ourselves go. And as we talked about, going into that state of surrender and knowing that actually, when you are harmonically aligned with that vibration and with that healing that is meant to come through within that mission, it will be shown to you because it is in divine timing. It is completely right. And you are meant to be there in order to shine your light on that situation to help it grow.
So
It's so
a piece of
powerful.
what you're saying is so true, because number one, that's how I got redirected to Sedona, was through the joint mission. It was not me alone. I couldn't even see it alone. So it was the dynamic between us that created the energy that redirected the path that then only could I see. But the key to navigate that with the other person is to be able to dance the dance within before you can dance it together. And that's why the tools are so important, to navigate that surrendering and the push-pull energy within before you can do it together. So let's take these and we'll kind of wrap up here.
Do you want me to read that?
Yes,
So
please.
Albert Einstein said, "You cannot solve a problem with the same mind that created it." And this is where the difficulty of growth occurs. There must be a mind transformation. And this transformation requires faith. To have faith, one must let go. And letting go means one must be out of their mind, which is why surrender, I love that, surrender, the way of no way, is needed. So true. It's allowing yourself to let go, have faith, and to trust, because how many of us actually do that? We go, oh yeah, this is what I'm doing. But actually really going into that place of letting go of that fear, knowing that you are divinely held, and going into that place of trust, and knowing that where you're meant to be is where you're meant to be at this point.
And
That
that's the
actually,
trust I was talking about earlier when I said you have to trust the journey, yourself, the process, and even the person. Because without it, all of that, but first you can't have it with the person if you don't have it with yourself and the divine, right?
absolutely,
So you have to find that trust in yourself first to have it with them. And
absolutely.
but you can't take it to the next level without trust in them, because it becomes a joint effort, and it's a ping pong match that you're bouncing the ball back and forth, and you have to know that they're going to be willing to chase the ball and try to play the game with you. So yes. Okay, Heidi, welcome. So, holy wow, harmony raise. I've been going through so much of what you're saying. I have needed to be very patient, but my new rebirth and breakthrough has arrived. And you're right, Heidi, it is a new rebirth, a new breakthrough at another level. With your long search for love. And keeping in mind that's within, right? That's where you're going to find it. What you've been seeking is inside of you. So I'm right about how the highest and the best selves need to come together with our true twin flames. Yes. And you have to do it within to have it around you. So absolutely. So amazing. Thank you guys so much for joining us tonight. And or tonight for me, it's in the morning for Rays. So wherever you are, it's good morning or good night or where anything in between. We will be back on October 1st. If you've been following us, we want to thank you for joining us in this whole process. And make sure to get plugged into the Facebook group. As I mentioned, Grace is still going to be in there in this time.
I'll say we've actually got an interview with a twin flame couple within the group. So get plugged into that, because it's about them stepping into their mission and purpose. So I just feel it's a really beautiful follow on for what we've done and how we can move it forward. Yeah.
Yeah. And I just want to say something really quick. I watched your first ever interview in there yesterday, and you did such a great job, and how amazing it was. It was really, really good. So if you get plugged in, the interview she did about the mental aspects of the journey and how to heal on all levels mentally included, there was some really good information by a divine masculine who has been through a lot in his journey to really step into his purpose, because that's what I said about him going through what he went through, was him being able to step into his purpose that redirected his path to do what he came here to do, right? So that's how this works, and we go through these things to help other people. So hang tight. If you're with us, come back in just a few minutes now, like I will say 9 p.m. Eastern time, and I'll be back with Jason for Shamanic Sunday. And we'll see you in the Facebook group. And don't forget to get plugged into that 5-day challenge. And it's still not too late to get signed up for the retreat in Sedona. And I don't have the link in here, but wherever you are, if you comment you would like to learn more, I'll make sure that you get the link to learn more. All right. It's about rediscovering yourself. You won't want to miss it. It's going to be life transforming. So loads of love, everyone. We'll see you in 2 weeks with the Rise with Rays. I'll see you shortly with Shamanic Sunday. Take care.